Hello everyone, you're welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. In this lesson, we are going to talk about display pop-ups in .NET Maui application. Now, when you create your application, you want to ask a user question to make a choice. .NET Maui platform has the three methods on a page class for interacting with the user through pop-ups. And there, we have display alert, we have display action sheet, and we have display PromptAsync. So we are going to have a look on this. Now, pop-ups are rendered with a native control on each platform. So if you're using Android, iOS, it's still going to work. Let's first have a look on display and alert. So with this, let's have with an example. I have a page or a project created, and as you can see, I have it run, and that is what you see on the screen. Now with this, I'm going to have a button like click me. So if I click me, if I click on this button, I want to display a message, and that is a display an alert. So you want to display an alert to user. Now currently, if I click on this button, nothing happens. So let's figure that one out. So let's go to Solution Explorer, and now within the Maui or the main page, the example, now you can see we have this button here. So we have the button X name, and now let's go for the event. So click event, and now let's generate new event. So let's go to the main page xml.cs file, and that is this. You can see the event has now been generated. So let's display an alert when you click. So let's say display alert. So let's give the title as alert. And now let's say, so you clicked me. And now let's have the next button as OK. So if you have a look well, now a display alert, it has, or it takes in 3 parameters. Let's see. Now you can see we have the first one as title. We have the message, and we have the string as cancel. That's a button. It is overloaded, but that is what we are going to have a look first. 3 parameters. You don't want to use the flow direction. So you can see the flow direction here is either the right to left or right. We don't want to use the flow direction. And we also have the title message. Do you want to accept it or do you want to cancel it? We're going to have a look at that. But first of all, let's see with the first one, the first overload. You want to have the title, and that's the title here, alert. So this is going to display on the top. We have the message beneath the title. You clicked me, and we have a button as OK. So here, user has one button to click, and that is the name that we specify. It is OK. Let's save this. Let's save this, and now let's run the application and see. So if I click on this button, I must have this display alert. Now this is not working because unless you restart the app, so let's restart it. Okay, so now let's wait and click on the button. Now let's click on this button and see. So you want to see this message, alert as a title, message, and now the button. And that's what we see. So we have an alert title, this is a message, and that is a button. So if you want to have a simple message to a user without accepting it or without doing any interaction, then you can do this. Just have to click on OK, and that's all. So anytime the person clicks on that button, you have the alert. So that is a way to display an alert button. With the same display alert, now you're going to have a question. So do you want to play the game? Do you want to go? Yes or no? Okay. So when the user chooses any, we're going to display the result. Now let's see. So this is a display button. And also we want to display the second one. And that is display alert. And we're going for the next overload. And here we want to say this is question. So this question, this is the title that I want to set. Now the title, this is the message. So would you like to continue? Would you like to continue? Then you want to have the first one, that is yes. The next one, you want to have no. So these are going to be button. Now let's close this. But you know, this is a Boolean expression, so we must store the results here. So how can we store? We're going to say bool, then we say answer is equal to this. Okay, but you know this, we have to call an await before, because we're going to need an answer. So we have to use an await, and we can use an await whereby this is not an async. So let's do that, async. Okay, so we can also set an await here. So the first one is an alert, just a message, a prompt to display the user or tell the user something. The next one demands an answer. So let's see. So you can decide to click on any. Now we have this. So let's display. Now let's display what the user is going to click. So let's say await, display alert, and now we say this is answer. So with this, what we're going to do, we're going to pass in the answer. We can convert to .toString, or we can leave it as it is. So let's see, and you're going to have, okay. So what the user going to choose, we are going to convert it into toString. I believe we have to convert it. Okay, so let's convert it to string. So answer dot toString. Okay, so now let's save this. Let's refresh it and see. So when you click on this button, the first one is going to be just an alert. Let's see. So you clicked me, that's the first one. So after it disappears, then the next one comes in. So let's see. Now we have the next question. Would you like to continue on? So if I click on no, let's see what happens. Click on no, and now the answer here, it is false. So that's the third one. Click on okay. Now let's see again. So this first one, now yes, and the answer is going to be true. So we see we can now continue on and do something. So let's say if the answer is true, then this is what we want to do. So we can say if answer is true, then display the answer. Okay, then let's say let's write here as correct. Else, then you want to do something like wrong. Okay, so let's see. Now I want to say if the answer is true, display what? Correct. Else display wrong. Now let's see. So let's restart this. So I'll just click on the button. Now there's the first one. So would you like to continue? No. So I'm going to have wrong, and that's the false. If I do it again, I'm going to have the next one, yes, and that's going to be correct, true. So that's the way to display the alert with the question. So the next one that I'm going to talk about here is an action sheet. So display action sheet. Now an action sheet presents the user with a sort of alternative to choose from, how to proceed on that specific task given. So to display an action sheet, we have to use the keyword known as display action sheet. We can use that on any page at all, and we have to pass the message and the button labels as strings. So that is the only thing that we need to do. Let's have a look here. So let's create a button. So this button here, the name of this is going to be, this is display alert. And now let's copy the same button. Let's paste it. So, and here, let's format this well. And now with this, we want to assign this counter to button. So let's generate an event handler for this. And now the name here, it is display action sheet. Okay, so that is the event that has been generated. Let's go to the CS when you have it over here. So this is what you're going to do. Let's say string action, or before that, let's call an await. Now await, and we say display action sheet. So that's a keyword. Now it needs a title. So the title here is, let's use an action sheet. Then we say send to. So send to who? Then we can use, let's put comma here. So the first one is a cancel button. So here you can see we have title, and here we can set up the button labels. So first we have cancel button. Let's have cancel. Then we're going to have the next one is distraction. So with that, we can pass in now. You don't want to distract any. Now the next one here is the labels. So that's the parameters buttons. So which one? Now we can specify the first one as, so let's say Gmail. So even we can just write here send through or via. So send via, we have Gmail. Okay, so we can just write Google Mail. Then we can have another one as Yahoo Mail. Okay, and let's see if we can have one as Microsoft. So Microsoft Outlook. So we have three buttons that you want to display. These are the clicks that you want the person to click or to choose from. Now let's close this. And now since this is an action, what can we do? Let's store this action as a string. So let's say string action is equal to. Okay, now let's display the action here. So the action that these are going to choose, let's display here. Okay, so we can display this, or maybe we can have a book and also have a question here to display. So let's say question. So or we can just put here as confirm. So this confirm. Are you sure? Let's say you want to use this. So are you sure? You want to use? Okay. Now in here, that's what you're going to do. Let's do this string interpolation. So let's add this. Then let's go for this action. So we can go for action. So this action that we are going for, we want to use that action. Now let's see what we, okay, so let's cut this from where it is, and it must be in here. So are you sure you want to use this action? Then we have yes or no. Then we're going to say display the results. So we don't want to choose if it is yes or no. We want to display the results. So if the person clicks on no, okay, then let's use this, because if the person clicks on no, then let's see what we can do. So you see we can bind these two actions, display alert and display action. So if this is true, then we want to display the answer to string here, which is going to be what? Yes. Okay. And if this is no, so we want to display yes. No, we don't want to display this yes. Rather, I want to display this action. So we can just grab this and then display this action. Else, we want to display the same action, or we can display so let's display something like, so you can display something like let's say, All right. Okay. Now let's run this and see what we're gonna do. What we're gonna have now. So let's click on this to refresh the application. So now display action sheet. Let's click on this, and I can see we have send through. Now if I click on Gmail, we have these three options. We have cancel. If I click on cancel, nothing happens. The application, then it goes to the next one. So you can see here, are you sure you want to use cancel? So if I click on no, so you're gonna have all right. Right. Now let's see again. If I click on Google Mail, see what happens. We have Google Mail used here. Yes. Then I have the Google Mail displayed as correct. You see? So you can have options here, and you can do a lot of things here. So even here, you can say if you want to check. So you can say action is equal to this. Now you want to this cancel. We want to exclude this. So we're going to say the answer. Are you sure you want to? Now before we do this, this is what we can do. We can say if action is equal to cancel. Okay, then you want to return. That's all. So if the action is equal to cancel, this cancel, then return. Now let's refresh it again and see. So let's click on display action sheet. Now if I click on cancel, it's going to return because nothing happens. So click on this, cancel, it is returning. But as soon as I click on Microsoft Outlook, it asks me, are you sure I want to use this? So yes, then I have Microsoft Outlook. So that is a way to also use the action sheet. Now let's talk about this too. You can see if I click on this, what if in case you want two buttons here, send and maybe cancel. Okay, well, how can you do that? So let's do something here like, so send through the following. Okay, so now this is not a question. Here we are saying that we are going to send the data through the following. So you're going to display all these buttons here, like Google Mail, Yahoo Mail, and Outlook. We're going to display them. So we don't need to use this cancel here. So in this, we are going to, or even let's maintain this. We're going to have cancel, and we're going to have, so let's say you're going to have confirm. Okay, so you're going to have cancel and confirm, or here could be okay. Now, if action is equal to cancel, then return. Then else, we can just also do confirm, or let's say okay. So we're going to have cancel and okay. If I click on cancel, the display action sheet closes. But as soon as I click on OK, it means I agree that I want to send through the following here, labels. Then it's going to ask me, are you sure I want to do that? If I click on yes, then it's going to say, so let's say success. And now you don't want to display any action. You want to say sent. You see, else you don't do anything. So if it is yes, then send. Else you don't do anything here. Okay, or this else we can do something like return. So we can just clear this and we say return. That's all. Let's run this and see. So you can see there are differences in the action sheet. One, you can use to confirm, whereby you have these interactive buttons here. Second one, you can see you can have a lot of labels to choose from. So with this, you can click on this label. Let's see. So I'm going to click on this action sheet. Now you can see, so it's going to send through the following. If I click on Google, you see, are you sure I want to use Google over here? That is this one. So if yes, then it's going to say sent, right? Now let's see, action sheet. Now if I click on OK, now this OK is I'm going to use OK. Then If I click on yes, then it is sent. Here, there's something wrong here. So this is what we're going to do. We have to take off this because you don't want to have any of this as an action to display. So let's take off this. Now this is what you're going to do. So let's clear this. Now if I click on, if this, let's say, if ActionSheet, or if that is the action, is equal to, okay, then I want to display just sent, else what? Return. Now let's save this and see. So we can also take off one of these. It doesn't matter either 2 or 1, it's still going to work. So let's refresh this and see again. So let's click on this button. Now we have this list. So you can see when you click on this, it returns. Nothing happens. As you can see here, nothing happens here. It returns. So as soon as I click on this and I click on cancel, nothing happens. As soon as I click on okay. Now sent. So let's also talk about prompts. So let's have a button. And now this button, let's copy this and now save this here. And this is button 3. So here, you're going to say prompt. So display prompt. And now let's generate an event for this. So new event. So we are in here. This is a prompt. Now this is what you're going to do. Let's say await display. So first of all, prompt, it is used to pass a title and a message as a string argument. Now it's going to demand an input from user to type. Here the user is not going to select as the display action sheet and the display does. The user is going to pass in something and I'll click on OK. So let's say, so await display alert. Or here we're not going to use, I'm going to use display PromptAsync. So that is this one. So this is the keyword. And now here we have what? The title and the message. They're going to have accept, OK, cancel. As you can see over there. Now the first thing is, let's have a question 1. So let's say this is question 1. Now this question, that's our title. So that message is, you can just write, what is your name? You see? So now we have this question, what's your name? And now it is going to demand a user to type in something. So let's see. You can just write. But before that, we have to store. So, you know, the person is going to pass in string. So we're going to store this as string. Let's say result is equal to this. So whatever thing that the user is going to pass in is going to store here. Then we can check. So if results is now return, then else, this is what you want to do. Let's call display alert. Then you want to call in the answer. And in here, you want to grab results. Okay, result over here. Then we say, okay. So whatever thing that is going to pass in there, we are going to display that. So let's call the await keyword. Now let's save this and let's refresh this. Let's click on this display prompt. Now asking me a question, what is your name? So I'll type in here, that's Netcode-Hub. Now as soon as I am done, let's see what happens here. So if I click on OK, so I can click on cancel. Okay. Now that is cancel, you're going to cancel it. Now let's do it again. What is your name? So let's see Netcode-Hub. Click on OK. And now let's see, you can see the answer here is for Netcode-Hub. So I have the answer displayed. That is the prompt. So you can now use this to check. So if the person clicks on cancel, it means it is now, nothing going to be displayed. But when the person pass in, okay, it means it got something and going to display. Let's see from here, if I decide to click on display prompt and I click on okay, let's see what happens. So answer here it is what? It is empty, right? It is now. Let's make some check over here and see. So we can pass in, or let's say if string dot is now or empty, then let's pass in this result. Then return. Let's refresh this and see. So display prompt, what's your name? Pass in nothing, and I display this. So you can see here nothing happens because we are checking, is it now or empty? Yes it is. Then return, do nothing. But as soon as I pass in something like netcode, now see something, if I click on OK, I have the answer displayed. So this display prompt async also has an overloaded version. Let's have a look at that. Now we can use that one to ask a question, maybe mathematics. We can set up initial value, and we can set up the maximum number that, or the maximum line the user can type. And also we can specify which keys that should be used. Is it the numeric or the alphanumeric, or only the alphabet? Now let's try that and see. So in here, we are going to ask a question. So I'm going to just, let's comment this. And now here, I'm going to say that await display prompt async. You can see it is the parameter that we need to provide. So let's say this is question. It must be in double quotes. So question, store question 1. And now we want to say that what is the sum of 10 multiplied by, so 10 multiplied by 2. Okay, so what is the sum of this? Now you put a question here, and once you have this, we can pass an initial value. So let's say this is initial value. Maybe we can pass in here as 0. So this is going to display there 0. Then what is the maximum length the user can type? This maximum length, we can decide, since 10 times 2 it is, we can have 20. It means the maximum length is what? 2. So you can specify of 2. It means you can't pass in more than 3, like 200, 100, 3 characters or 3 numbers. No, you can't do that. Now, which key do you want to specifically target on? So you can pass in the keyboard. And now this key, we can say that it is keyboard dot. So you can see here we have a lot. We have test, we have numeric, we have default, and etc. So let's use numeric. It means only numbers can be typed. We pass in a test, it's not going to be accepted. So now let's see. Now the initial value, let's put this here. And now this answer, since it is a string, let's store it in a string variable. So we say string, and we say answer is equal to. So we can pass in something like if answer, okay, but here let's try to, because the number you're going to type in is going to store as string. So let's use a pass, try pass. So let's use pass, or let's use int.pass. So let's try to convert that into integer. You pass in this answer. So if int.pass is equal to 20, then we want to display. So I wait, we call display alert, then we can say correct. Okay, and here you can just write that's right. Okay, then we can have a button as okay. Else we can just display wrong. So else we can display something like wrong. So we can just do try again. You see, so that's what we can do. And instead of this happiness, you can say do that again. Okay, so let's save this. Now let's refresh and see. Now let's hit on the button display prompt. So the question is going to be asked. You can see we have the initial value over here, and that's what it is. Now the maximum length the user can type is 2. So let's see. For the start to type in, I can clear this, or this is I can clear this. But start to type in more than 2, you can see it is not going. So it's going to accept only 2. If I type in 74 and click on OK, let's see what happens. So you can see wrong. Try again. Now let's see. If I click on this, and if I click on cancel, because nothing happens, right? We have an exception here because it is saying value cannot be null. Okay, so here we can just check. We can make a check here. So let's make a check here first. So we can say that if answer, or we can say if string dot is null or empty, then we can pass in this answer. Then this is what you want to do, just return. So let's refresh this to clear this error. So let's click on this display prompt. Now 0, as soon as I click on cancel, here nothing happens. Click on it again, and now this is 0. So if I click on this, you see the initial value is 0, so wrong. Now if I click on this again, and now clear this, and I click on OK, let's see what happens. Nothing happens here, and here there's no exception because this first is going to catch that error and it's going to return it without passing through this to have an error. All right, so as soon as I do this and I pass in, let's say 20, let's see what happens. So you can see now it is, so that's correct. Okay, so I believe that is a way we've spoke about how to use the display alert, display action sheet, and also display prompt async. I believe you're going to use them in your application. Thank you for watching this video and also taking up this lesson. Check the playlist. We have a lot of lessons and projects for .NET Maui and also Blazor WebAssembly and Server and other stuff. So check it over there and it's going to help you. Thank you so much for watching and see you guys in the next video.